Hey guys, in case you're curious why I'm here again, I'm back in the old setup where I was in my old dorm for college. I'm back at Hofstra, so I'm gonna be doing my videos here for a while. I hope everyone understands. But anyway, I would usually be here about sports. I'd usually be here about how I'd usually be talking about how on Kobe Bryant Day, the Pacers won. Not, but they ended up not. Sorry, I predicted the Pacers were going to win the series. It turned out that was not going to be the case. Whoever predicted that, myself, I saw it maybe in 7 games because I thought, hey, maybe this could happen, but it didn't. I also thought that the Avalanche would win today. That didn't happen. The Stars came back and won. But I'm here for one reason and one reason only. The RNC was, listen, I liked the DNC. I thought it was okay. There were some parts where I thought were a little bit cringeworthy, but overall, it was going to appeal to more of the moderate. I wished the Democratic Party was half as crazy as all these Republicans like to make it out as. I mean, oh my God, if you thought the DNC wasn't the best, you should take a look at the RNC. Oh my God. They had all the heavy hitters there. They had McCloskeys. They had Scott Walker. They had Matt Gaetz. They had Jim Jordan. You know, Beavis and Butthead of the Congress. I mean, you look like Beavis and Butthead. You even had Herschel Walker, who talked about his love for the Donald. He just never mentioned about the USFL folding because of Trump's leadership there, but that's a whole different story. You're friends with Herschel Walker. That doesn't mean you're racist, right, kids? Also, Donald Trump Jr. having the best line of the night. Beijing Biden. If you love Moscow Mitch, you're going to love Beijing Biden, kids. Ugh. And Tim Scott shows, see, America isn't racist. I'm senator. I'm the only black senator, and I represent the good old state of South Carolina, y'all. But it was okay. I think the best one was Nikki Haley. I did think that even though her past history is a little on the nose, I did think that her speech was very unifying. I thought she spoke very, very well. But I think the craziest speech of the night had to be from Kimberly Guilfoyle. I mean, my God. As people were saying online, it seemed like she was high up on cocaine before she did this. I mean, you're talking about a woman who's dating Donald Trump Jr., the ex-wife of current governor of California, Gavin Newsom, who was someone who wanted to stoke fear, not hope, but fear that the Democrats are apparently going to have unleashed their socialist, communist, Chinese agenda, apparently. It was totally nuts. Like, man, like, can you imagine her in a debate? I mean, I wish she even had half of that energy over at Fox. I mean, once you're in the Trumps, you never go back. You're full on crazy the whole way. I mean, man, I'm still sorry for Latinos. I mean, I know that she wants to appeal to the base and say, oh, I'm Latino. Imagine if Joseph Amadouros on here was to keep reminding people he was Latino. The message would get old pretty quickly. But instead, it doesn't matter if you're Latino. It doesn't matter if you're black. You could be crazy, black, white, blue, green, doesn't matter. You're still crazy. You still sound like you're on cocaine. I don't think she's on cocaine, but a lot of the people on Twitter are saying that she was. It's just a very crazy look. And not only that, they keep mentioning how Trump did such a great job for the COVID. Really? I mean, the same guy that was keep denying that it was a big deal until March. The same guy that keep calling it the Chinese virus, the same guy that keeps saying that it's all going to disappear, the same guy that said that everything's okay, the same guy that said that it's a Democratic hoax. That guy, that's the guy you think is doing so much for the pandemic. That's the guy that you really think is leading the way for the virus. That's the guy who you believe is going to get us out of this mess. That is your guy. You're going to ride with him. You're ride with a guy that insokes violence and fear into the hearts of many Americans. I mean, I don't care if you're black or whatever. He's a divisive figure. Doesn't matter who you are. I mean, I'm not a huge Trump fan. I have family members that are Trump fans. I get why they want him, but it's not because of his race. It's because he's the outsider. Well, I got news for you. Just because you're an outsider doesn't mean you're free from corruption either. And as we know, Trump's administration, Steve Bannon, Roger Stone, Paul Manafort, Michael Flynn, and now Kellyanne Conway just left. All these criminals, all these people are going to be behind bars for a notable amount of time. All these people, and there's even more ties to Russia now. And the RNC, like, if this is day one, I cannot wait to see what it's like for day 2, 3, and 4. The only person I can honestly say that I'm looking forward to seeing is Nick Sandmann, because that's the only guy on there I legitimately feel bad for. Everyone else, I mean, you think Don Jr. is Tiffany and Melania going to show up? Wait for Melania to come out. I want Melania to come out and say the exact same speech as Michelle Obama, but they'll say it'll be great because, oh, she looks so beautiful. That's what a first lady is. Just never mind the fact that, what exactly has Melania done in the White House other than wear a jacket that incited racial tensions and cut down Jackie Kennedy's trees and her roses. Outside of that, what has she even done? No policies, no talk. It's all talk. I mean, just inserting fear and racial division. It's just a mess. Just 1 second. Sorry, I just had to get my charger. But seriously, you really think that Trump is still going to unite us? You think Trump's going to unite us, the guy that's divided this country more than anyone else in my entire lifetime? You really think Trump's going to be that guy? Really, after all these speeches? They were all unhinged. Well, not all, but most of them. Like, there was this one guy that was comparing Joe Biden to Fidel Castro. Joe Biden is a moderate Democrat. He's borderline Republican. Well, traditional 80s Republican. But he is a borderline Republican. He is a moderate candidate. He is so moderate. And they're it's like every single Democratic candidate, doesn't matter if you're like if you're socialist or whatever, it doesn't matter if you're a Democratic socialist or a moderate or a little bit to the left, they're gonna call you a left-wing commie, and that he's gonna completely tax everyone. They're gonna Sharia law, exciting rights. See, with Biden as president, you're gonna see more of that. You're gonna see more riots in the street. We're already seeing that under Trump, dude. You're seeing this under Trump. You're seeing riots and protests. You're seeing in Portland, Seattle, New York City. Trump has done a horrible job at this. He's only incited tension. Instead of for hope, not really hope for the future. I never really see much for hope for the future. Instead, be fearful. Be very fearful of the radical left agenda. Or really, you're going to say radical? Because Joe, with 47 years and over, now on number 48, he's going to fix everything. Well, to be fair, I would say the one point. He's been in politics for almost 50 years. Why suddenly now do you expect he's going to fix everything? That is true. But get out of here with his idea that he's this super far left extremist candidate. Like, what? You were saying Mrs. Obama, too. Was Obama socialist? Not even close. Not even close. In fact, some of Richard Nixon's policies were more liberal than Obama's. He is not a socialist candidate. He's not even a far left candidate. He's a very moderate choice. Kamala Harris is a little bit more to the left. But even then, she's not socialist. Get out of here with that talk. And this idea that they want to see that, and not only that, the idea that he's done so much for African Americans, the idea that he's done so much and got rid of jobs. Actually, even before the pandemic, the jobs weren't that great. And as for the economy he inherited was Obama's economy. Obama inherited George W. Bush's economy. That usually doesn't take effect until like a year or two afterwards. And what do you know? Trump, you have the pandemic, but he's going to find a way to somehow blame it on Obama or Hillary or Biden or Schumer, Pelosi, doesn't matter. And Pelosi, too. Pelosi has been one that's been, granted, we should give Trump credit where credit's due. It's not he's done everything that's wrong. But that doesn't mean that everything he's done was right. I mean, you're just talking about a fearful pandering to everyone at the RNC. They did a roll call of all the states. Almost every single person there was white. Lily white, Connecticut light, whatever. Godfather Media, I guess that's Joseph. It's the RNC strategy to bring out the worst in our society, that the only way to win the election is corrupt the electoral process. No strategy for virus, financial. Exactly, Joseph. Exactly. The strategy is all just fear. That's all it was. No hope for the future. I mean, as much as people want to say that, they're not talking about policies, they're just talking about, how great of a guy Joe is and how he wants to make things better. What is Trump going to do? What has Trump said that he's going to make things better? Nothing will change. MAGA. Yeah, make America great again by... I'll tell you how to make America great again. Let's start by removing Donald Trump. That's how you start with making America great again. Removing the guy we have in office and all the crooks on there as well. My God. That's the real solution to making America great again. Getting rid of all the cronies already in there. I mean, their heavy hitters were like the worst, most divisive characters. Is the My Pillow guy going to show up? Is Ted Nugent going to show up? Is Scott Baio going to show up? I mean, this is their superstars in the Republican Party, folks. Now, granted, to be fair, you could say Billie Eilish, why does she deserve to be speaking about it? But at the same time, Donald Trump, what qualifications does he have? He's just Trump's son. True, I can't argue with that. But at the same time, my roommate's in the other room, that's why you hear them. But other than that, it's just fear. And as much as people want to say that the DNC wasn't about policy, what was the RNC Day 1 about? It had nothing to do with policy. It was just fear. Fear that the Democrats and Joe Biden are going to have this radical leftist agenda. It's fear. It's no policies. At least the DNC had hope for the future. At least it had hope for all people, regardless of who they are. Instead, with the RNC, it's just evil. They're all evil. They're all just name calling. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're the epitome of name calling. Lies hope. Yeah, but at least they're saying something. With the RNC, it's just all fear. Just fear, fear, fear. They're going to raise your taxes. They're going to turn it into socialism, Sharia law. They're going to accept MS-13, which, yes, well, MS-13 is a bit of a nuisance on Long Island. A lot of times people use that to throw out their Latino agendas. Are they lying, though? Who's lying? The RNC or the DNC? I mean, you could say that they're both liars. A lot of times you can say they're no different. To be fair, both sides said that this is the most important election in our lifetime. Is the RNC lying? Well, in terms of the COVID stuff, yeah, they're misinterpreting that completely. Because there's no way you can objectively say that Trump has done a good job. I mean, look at how the RNC has been. Just day one. At least the DNC gave me hope. The RNC gave me fear. Gave me fear that they're going to take it away from us. They're going to take away your guns. They're going to take away your free speech. But like, everyone wants to say, like, I know I'm just spitballing here. It's late at night over in the East Coast, but that's why I feel a bit like a mess with my hair. But I just saw the RNC, the live stream not too long ago. I mean, Trump didn't seem to understand what a custodian was. In case you don't know Trump, it's basically the same thing as a janitor. There's someone that cleans stuff up for you. Yeah, if we're going to take those things away, well, in what context? In what context exactly? They're not taking away your Second Amendment. They're not taking away your First Amendment, which, by the way, seems to be the only two that Republicans seem to mention all the time. Just the First and the Second Amendment. They never don't know about the Third or Fourth. They never heard of the 14th Amendment or even the 13th Amendment because, you know, a lot of them probably don't like slaves too. Who knows? But I'm just looking at, I know that some are saying, oh, this is propping up Joe Biden. You're propping up Donald Trump like he's a literal cult. A literal cult. That's what Trump's base is. It's a cult. Saying that he's the greatest American ever. And while there are some good things, yes, the way they went about it, they were wrong. Is Russia going to help out Trump this time? I'm not sure, but I do know that getting rid of the post office or dismantling it could also help him out, because he knows that most people that are going to be voting by mail are not going to be voting for him. But I do find it funny that for Trump, the same guy that's hating on the post office is also the same guy whose administration, his campaign, is sending out mail letters from Lara Trump, his daughter-in-law, Eric's wife. Yeah, Kamala Harris said she was going after firearms. Well, yeah, but that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But again, I want every single Republican to ask me, tell me a situation in the Republican Party that, did the First Lady repeat what the Lady Michelle said that? I do expect her to, personally. Godfather me. And that's why the rub and I can't be... message retracted. Yeah, the RNC is pretty crazy. I expect the day two to be even crazier. Now, granted, it's not gonna have Kimberly Guilfoyle be like the Wicked Witch of the West. That's why this is the thumbnail. It's I'm sure you guys like the picture I used there. It's the only one I can use to describe it. It literally was just, it was a hellhole. It was a frenzy. It was just a mess of just epic proportions. But the memes about it are just so wonderful. And as someone like me who is a meme connoisseur like myself, yes, I am 21. You shouldn't be surprised that I am one. It is a situation where we have a political party whose entire message, before he's going to manipulate his base, supporting that as the cat's out of the bag, he knows he potentially knows. That's true. Trump did the same exact tactic last year, but now he's really honing on the fear. Because they want to treat Fauci like a political enemy, and because they want to use the protests as simulation, like, see, the Democrat-run cities. Okay, tell me a single major city that isn't mostly Democrats, okay? The majority of major cities in America are entirely Democrats. You know why? Because that's usually the case for urban areas. They're generally more Democrat. And yes, I know about the Pacific Northwest, I know about Chaz, I know about Portland, but also, don't forget, Kenso, Wisconsin. You had a man, I forget his name, Jacob from whatever. He was just walking across with his kids in the car, shot 7 times. 7 times. Explain to me that you can't just handcuff him. You have to shoot him while his kids are in the car to see their father be bleeding out, now in critical condition. They're lucky that he didn't die on the spot. 7 times. 7 times. 7 times. And they don't never mention that. They don't mention about police reform. They don't mention about helping people out. That's the party that should be talking about policy, because you'd be thinking that the one that's in office would exactly. Yeah, I would. You'd think that the ones that are already in office will be talking about more plans to make the country even better. He was carrying a knife and resisting arrest. In front of his kids, though? In front of his kids? Couldn't slash the tires? Like in GTA? Why didn't he just stop? They told him to stop. They turned his back. He was probably scared. He was scared. The dude was scared. That's what they said. You didn't see that on camera either. But again, it's another one of these situations where, as much as these people, the jump out boys are hurting Trump's reelection. No, Trump is hurting his own reelection. Yeah, that is true. I would say that while, do you want to actually hurt his election? Himself. He's hurting his own election campaign. Trump's shtick was fine in the 2016 election, but now he's president. He's done extreme damage to this country. He's divided the left and right even more so. There are riots and protests in the streets. We've seen a complete mishandling of the pandemic. Whereas we've gotten worse, everyone else has gotten better. We have places in the 57% of Republicans say that the number of deaths is okay. No. And please explain to me what you mean by that. Okay that it's not a million, or okay that, hey, we have Trump running, so it's okay. Country's already divided in the media. Who's the media? You're clueless? Well, I have the vlog and you don't, Eric. I have the vlog and you don't, so what does that say about you? And you don't want, you can hate me all you want. You can hate me all you want. Still give me views. Still raking in that money. CNN, Fox. Yeah, there is a lot of media issues on both sides. I'm not trying to just both sides. It's Young Turks, Fox, OAN. To be fair, Trayvon Martin's, his death started the Black Lives Matter protests. Yeah, that is true. There's no need for insults. I should keep it civil. But honestly, I feel like everyone's throwing insults at each other. It's rather be even the ones that are nice, a lot of them follow that up with a passive aggressive insult. I didn't say you, Eric, but I thought you were referring to someone else. My apologies, Eric. But this is a mess. I want to see a debate between these two. I personally think that Trump would win a debate between him and Biden, because I think just the way that Trump goes about it and his bombastic nature is one that's very likely to set people off. But where are the studies from, Andrew? Can you please tell me where they are so that way I know? So I legitimately do want to see him. Dude, no you don't. Trump might lie, but he's cognitive enough to lie. Biden doesn't have a clue where he is. Decisive. Andrew, again, can you please tell me where these locations are? Can you please tell me where these studies are from? Can you please tell me what websites they're on? Are they on InfoWars? Are they from an actual website? Because I do believe you that the media is getting a lot more nasty, on both sides many times. But it's going to be very, very ugly. I expect it's going to be one that, now, as for my personal lifetime, I would say this is the most important election. Yeah, I would say so. Maybe you can say 2000 is a good second, maybe 2016. But I feel like 2008, the media is getting worse. Which is worse, Eric? Yeah, the media is getting worse, and it's not just it's not just with news. It's with sports too. I'll get into that into a separate video, but best thing going for Biden is pandemic so they can hide and do a normal press routine. Yes, that actually is doing good for him. Left scaffs, you higher you go in the polls. More gaffes, the smaller the divide is between him and Trump. Beijing Biden, Moscow Mitch. I mean, these are some great names. What should we call Trump? I've heard people say dumbass Donald. If Trump wins again, I legitimately think you are going to see way more unrest in the country. Way more. I still think you're going to see some unrest if Biden wins. But I don't think it's going to be close to the amount that's going to happen if Trump wins. And is Trump going to accept the results of the election? I know that Hillary Clinton didn't really accept them, but he later conceded afterwards. But she wasn't in office. The left can't handle losing? Well, neither can the right, honestly. The right can't handle it either. Because if Trump ends up losing, what are you going to say? Are they going to say that Russia did it against Trump? Or are you going to say that mail-in ballots are rigged? Yeah, investigation into the Trump administration, I know. A lot of investigation. When is the right cause problems? Let me go off the top of my head. Trump, W, Mitch, Trey Gowdy. Funny enough, the only time the Republicans have gotten in has just been from the Electoral College. The only time that I would say it wasn't was 2004, back when he won because George W. Bush was the incumbent, and it was also the Iraq War. Now, people don't really see George W. Bush in a very positive light, but that's not even close to how it's like for Trump now. Granted, to be fair, a lot of it is because George W. Bush is also no longer president, but I do wonder how Trump is going to be viewed. My guess is that Trump is not going to be viewed very well. I do not think Trump is going to be viewed very well once he leaves office, whether that's in the start of 2021 or that's even in 2025. And they say 12 more years. I wonder if he's being serious or if he's just joking to get elected. I really don't know with Trump anymore. It's a really, really interesting time. You haven't heard from BLM in 2017, 18, 19, election, boom, here they come. Actually, have heard from BLM a lot of times before that. I've been hearing Black Lives Matter every single year, ever since it started. I also know about people saying Antifa and Black and anarchy. In some areas it is anarchy. You can kind of argue that Chaz was anarchy because it wasn't controlled until July 1st. But again, in conclusion, it's 30 minutes here. The RNC, well, yeah, because of the pandemic and George Floyd's gruesome murder, that's why. Anyway, guys, that's my take on RNC Day 1. Stay tuned for my thoughts on RNC Day 2, because if Day 1's any indication, we're in for a wild ride, folks. Buckle your seatbelts. Get ready. Here they come.